Alrighty then.
Welcome to Indoor Fun.
Alrighty then, how's it going? Oh man, I'm excited to start this series that I'm going to do on different diamond systems. Um, so I didn't have this table didn't actually come with the diamonds inserted. So I've added some. They're not perfect, but they'll be they'll be good for any of the demonstrations I do and all the different shots. I did want to talk about the history of the diamonds, right? So this goes back to 1850. This guy named Michael Phelan, and basically he was credited with different aiming techniques based on the diamonds, and he actually was the first one to actually invent the diamond and have them placed in the specific locations on the table. I mean, back then, you know, the technology wasn't great, but the math behind it and the aiming techniques were just starting to take off. And then as the technology advanced, right, as the rails went from wood to stuffed leather to vulcanized rubber, and then as the cue itself evolved to where it is today with leather tips, a number of diamond systems became very, very popular. They allowed very accurate shots on the second, third, and even fourth rail. And that was really important because the games were evolving, right? You start off with carom billiards, usually on a 5x10 table. And then that was just basically you had a cue ball and two object balls, and you in a single shot you had to basically go off a carom, or you just had to carom between off to the two, and that game kind of evolved into more of a billiard style game where you had to go off a rail between hitting the balls, or rails before hitting two balls. And then it really even evolved even more and more into like three cushion billiards, which is a very interesting game and a lot of fun. I got to play it, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a second. But here's some history, right? Take a look at this picture. And this picture. Now do a Google search, history of billiards, and the diamond system, or history of diamond system. You're going to basically see the link to this video. Watch this video. Well, you might not want to watch the whole thing. It's pretty long, but there's definitely some really cool stuff in there. Alrighty then, isn't she a beauty? The nice new table. Yeah, check out my little diamonds that I put in. They're basically just round stick-on rubber things, but anyway, I have them equally spaced, so they should work out pretty well. I wanted to kind of talk about my introduction to the diamond system. It all started really when I got this book, Burns Advanced Techniques in Pool and Billiards, and this book is fantastic. And let me go to the acknowledgements. Anyway, so Bob Burns, he's got videos as well, and I watched a bunch of his videos, so I really started to learn about diamond systems and a bunch of different things. Yeah, I wanted to share the reference to Bob Jewett, PhD, former national collegiate pool champion, and kind of a science guy. And he taught Robert lots of the physics of the game, and I thought that was pretty cool. And at the time, being a high-tech guy as well, I actually I looked Bob Jewett up, and we actually exchanged some emails back in the day, and I went to a trip to San Francisco, and I got to play some pool with him. Now I want to talk a little bit about that. Stay tuned. Yeah, when I reached out to Bob, he replied right away. It was pretty cool. He was working, I think, at Hewlett Packard. I was working at Nortel, and I was going to Nortel on a conference, and I was going to be in San Francisco, and I emailed him, and he emailed me back, and then I told him, hey, I'm going to be in the area. So he says, hey, let's get together, let's play some pool. I said, great, this is awesome, because I had sent him some of my, because I was really inspired by reading Robert Burns' techniques, advanced techniques, and I was kind of right into pool at the time. So I actually wrote my own book. It's called Playing Better Pool, Advanced Techniques Used by the Pros. And basically, I just kind of summarized everything I had learned. And so I've got some stuff in here on the diamond system, stuff that I had learned from watching Robert Burns' videos, but also reading his book. And I mean, back then, it's not like today. Like today, YouTube, you can find anything, and there's great instructional videos on everything. Back then, it was a lot of paper, research, getting books. There was no, it was difficult to find stuff, and a lot of it was trial and error. I spent hours and hours and hours on a pool table, with the books that I had at the time to kind of understand how to do this stuff. Once I knew how to do it, then I was able to put it to paper in my own words. And I basically, at one point I had a website, and I used to put my pool tips, because from this book, one of my friends, he was editor of a newspaper out west in Vancouver, and I basically got a weekly column. And it was so fun. I did a bunch of them, and I put some of these columns on my little website, and then I told Bob that I asked him if he wanted to take a look at them. Anyway, he critiqued some of them, which was great because I used that information, and I put some of the notes in my book. And anyway, we had so much fun. He introduced me to 3-cushion billiards. And so I'd never played it. So this was playing basically pool without pockets. And it was so cool. And, that's when, the diamond system really kind of took off on me. I used it to kind of avoid getting out of safety situations where I had to kick 2 or 3 rails. And to me, that was great because it worked out great in pool. But then to actually implement it and see it in action on a true billiards table, playing 3-cushion billiards in California, that was a real treat. Bob and I played for I think 2 or 3 hours, and I really appreciate the time that he spent with me, and that was so cool. Oh man, the old days. Anyway, pool tips. So I wanted to share just a quick snippet. Stay tuned. Alrighty then. So this is one of the articles that I had written for the paper, Pool Tips Diamond Strategy by Mike Hogan. Anyway, I'm not going to get into this diamond system because this is going to be part of one of my next videos, but check this out. Here's an old picture of me, and I believe this is, I went to visit my friend in New York, and he just outside of New York in Poughkeepsie, and we took the train into New York City, and here we are. I think this is at the Amsterdam Billiard Club. Anyway, that was a long time ago. Anyway, stay tuned for some more history and some shots that are based on 3-cushion billiards. Stay tuned.
All right, before I get to some examples, I thought I'd share this diagram. It's a little bit out there. There's a lot of information on here, but this is basically kind of an example of the diamond systems, kind of the original one that was used for 2, 3, and 4-cushion billiards. Stay tuned. Yeah, let me share some old video coverage of one of the best three-cushion billiard players of all times, Willie Hoppy.
The granddaddy and grandest of all champions. Here in the world-renowned New York Athletic Club, Willie Hoppy displays the Q wizardry that was celebrated when John L. Sullivan was still heavyweight boxing champion of the world, before the forward pass was legalized in football, before baseball had ever heard of Ty Cobb. In every poll to select the outstanding sports figures of the first half of this century, Hoppy rates with all the greats, because in every year of the 20th century, he's held one or more billiard titles, and he goes right on winning them. At this point, he's playing an exhibition match with New York AC and National Club champion Edward Lee. But Ed isn't getting much of a chance to do much more than look on, for Willie's running in rare form, and there goes match point, made by Father Time's favorite son.
Alrighty then, let me share some shots that Efren Reyes makes in the following videos, and I'll actually try to make these shots myself. They're all three of them are shots I can make on my pool table because the pockets won't interfere. But Efren Reyes, this guy, they call him the magician. He's still playing, and he is arguably the best pool and billiard player of all time. And I encourage you to watch anything you can from him. Anyway, stay tuned.
Thin hits accurately, so I expect a billiard here. Yeah,
I like the way you hit that.
Yeah, really nice speed too.
Beautiful. Yeah, super speed. Nice job.
All right. And billiards is not his main game. He is an experienced player. You can tell he's very used to there's number 2 in this run. That takes his score to 3. Torbjorn here's to 8 already.
Different. I think the ball travels a lot faster.
Yes, but he has a very good sense for the speed on this table or billiard.
Alrighty then, let's try that first shot. Oh, the pocket! It hit the pocket! Let me do it again. Oh yeah! Pretty cool. All right, let me go take a look at the second shot and I'll set it up. Stay tuned. Actually, I just went and looked at the diagram. So the 2 balls here ended up basically where his shot was, but he hit a little bit thinner on that yellow ball. So the yellow ball actually ended up right around here. So let's try the second shot. I didn't get the other rail. Let me set that up again here. I need to come off of this rail kind of at this angle. Oh, I just missed it. Oh, let's do that again. That was too close. That didn't move. No. One more try. I can feel it. I can feel it. So basically on the shot, I need to basically get enough English to start to run. So I can go 2 rails and hit this. So 1 rail, 2 rail, 3 rail, hit the ball. What do I always say? Chalk is cheap.
that ball hit that ball. That was going to work. All right, let's do it again here. I'm not a three-cushion billiard player, and this is not a billiard table. Obviously, because I'm hitting in the pockets. That was close. There it is. Whew. That was a tricky one. Let me go check out the third one. Stay tuned. All right, here's the third shot. Ooh. I ended up getting it, but in his example, he came a little bit more this way and then came off of this rail in behind to hit that one. So I'll try that as well. It just means I'm going to have to come more over here, a little closer to this rail. In order to get on this track. So right around there. Nope. Close. Yes, maybe. No, it hit. Oh, it just hit the edge here. Let's try it again. It got it. All right. Actually, my track was a little off. I think it was more like that. Anyway, not too bad. What do you think? Anyway, I'm certainly not a Willie Hoppy or a Efren Reyes, but I hope you enjoyed this video. This is just kind of the history of the diamond system, and then just a little bit of fun at the end. But I am going to do a series of videos coming up, and I'm going to talk about the corner 5 system, the plus system or the +2 system, and then I'm going to talk about the what's it called, the tangent and the parallel shift. And actually, there's another thing called the midpoint parallel shift. Anyway, but the parallel shift is used. Can be used in the diamond systems as a general concept, and then there is another one called the midpoint parallel shift. So anyway, we'll see what that looks like. Check out the next few videos, and hope you enjoyed this. See ya! Thanks for watching. See ya.